LeBron James, the toast of LA, and not because of the Lakers. Not yet. That'll happen in a few months when they start playing. Right now, it's all about...
Remember how Charles started this sentence, but keep going.
It is all about Hollywood. What does that mean?
I think it's more about Hollywood than the Lakers, is what I think.
Yeah, well, it is right now, definitely, for sure, and we'll see what happens. But he had a power meeting of power meetings. Sat down with LeBron James sat down with Leo DiCaprio and Al Pacino. We got them leaving Avra in Beverly Hills, and they were all out to dinner together.
Now, you know the overlay here, that LeBron has a very successful production company on the Warner Brothers lot, and his business partner is Maverick Carter, who is a force in entertainment, and together they've already done movies, they've got television shows, and at least I think that LeBron is here with the Lakers in large part because he wants to be in LA to develop his business.
And business is booming.
Yeah, obviously. Like,
more than the Lakers. More than the Lakers.
You feel like you just came up with that one?
No, I'm saying more than the Lakers, man.
Right. Like, well, I think that what LeBron James was doing is he looked out in the landscape of the NBA, and he decided that the next couple of years of his life were going to be very, very important to establishing what he wanted to do in his post-basketball career. And one place where he could do both things, which is play basketball and have that other situation at his fingertips, was out here in Los Angeles, and that's why he's here.
So how many months out of the year does he have to commit pretty much full-time with basketball?
The season goes from around, I would say, October to he goes into the playoffs, so into the summer.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the playoffs the first year.
No, the Lakers will go to the playoffs next year.
And so
the Lakers are making... bet me $1,000,000 right now that the Lakers make the playoffs.
Let's assume you're right.
Wow.
Do you really
I actually
think
got the troll van. He actually fell for it.
Do you think he's going to last in the Lakers more than a couple of years?
Yeah,
before
he's going to play out the entire contract.
See, that's where I don't agree. I mean, I think he's
you
so.
Don't know what
I know, but I'm just dude. I mean, here's what I do know.
So you think
when you
think he's going to get a couple years in and just go like, you know what?
Wait, stop. So you think that LeBron James, who's 33 now, he'll turn 34 in December, I'm pretty sure. You think that LeBron, before the end of this contract, is going to retire?
I do, and the reason I say it, the reason I say it is that if he is running a really successful, vibrant company right now, that clearly, when you look at Al Pacino, when you look at Leo DiCaprio, that he is in the heart of it, and this isn't a vanity thing for him.
You know that
he
can still have those meetings.
He can do
during the
all
season,
of it.
even.
It's such a ridiculous, not ridiculous. I don't want to down. I'm saying it's. Crazy. I don't know what to say.
Go with the ridiculous. Go with the ridiculous.
LeBron is not going. He's not going to retire and go like he's not.
I'd love to have the meeting today, but I'm going to be in Cleveland, and then I'm going to New York, and then I'm going.
And they'll wait and have it next week.
It's really hard to do that when you're running a company.
Though. He's been doing it.
Yeah, he was doing it from Cleveland.
He was doing it from Cleveland. It's going to be a lot easier now to be able to have these meetings while he's here in Los Angeles.
I think the company is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and at a point, you do have to make a choice because you can't do everything.
You're wrong.
No, he has people who can. Also, he has people who are going to run a lot of that.
First of all, LeBron James has probably the most accomplished group around him. Guys like Maverick Carter, guys like Rich Paul. These dudes take care of business.
Clearly, but so does LeBron.
Right, and so what LeBron does is he pilots these ships, he talks about the different projects that he's interested in, and then his team, they run the situations with him.
I'll tell you, the reason I think it is because I see a parallel between LeBron James and Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson, I really see a huge parallel there with the way Magic Johnson developed his business, and Magic is really involved in it.
Yeah, but the difference is that LeBron's doing it way earlier in his career, and where he is right now is way further along.
And by the way, things have changed in society. Like the way we communicate, the ability to kind of get things differently. The society is not 20 or 30 years ago.
I'm aware of that.
Right. So
society still.
So here's the deal. So you can have a meeting via Skype.
It doesn't. I literally
It
just got off the phone. Charles heard it. I literally just got off the phone where we're supposed to have a meeting where I got to go somewhere, and you heard it.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to
And
do
he
the
said he
Skype
doesn't
interview.
wanna
It's
do the
not
Skype
the
thing.
same.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, though. You ain't LeBron James. Just because you can't do
God.
it doesn't mean
That
that
is
he
a good
can't
point.
do it.
LeBron
He's on the
James over Skype is
Jumbotron
way
all
more
the
effective.
day.
Sorry.
6'8" over Skype is a lot different. He's got a presence no matter where he goes.
They're going to look up his nose on Skype.
Yeah, he'll be fine. We believe in you, LeBron.
Okay. Anyway, so he's with Leo DiCaprio. See, I believe in him more than you do, which is why I'm saying that he's going to have to choose because his company's going to get so big.
You don't believe in him at all. You don't think he can do it. You think all.
I think he totally can do it.
I think what you just said was he needs to shut up and dribble the basketball.
Oh my God.
Hey, my name is Alexandra Sosik. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. King James is known for making power moves. His move to LA was definitely a power move that had much more to do with his business as well, not just basketball. If he's at dinner with Leo DiCaprio and Al Pacino, then he's obviously looking to make some power moves in his newest comedy that Variety reported that he just sold to Paramount Players with his company Spring Hill Entertainment. So yeah, he can definitely manage his business from near, from far, but right now he's near, so I think we can expect to see a lot more of him behind and in front of the camera. So time will tell if he stays with the Lakers, but he's not going anywhere with his entertainment business. He's right here with it.
Stay with the Lakers and do the other.